Next up,
What if I say, oh, Billy? No, that's not
No, you've done all that.
I haven't said it today.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
You said it several times earlier. Next up, at UFC 310, we have Vicente Luque taking on Themba Gorimbo. Vicente Luque.
Whoa!
You're never going to get it. Stop that shit right now. 22-10 in his career. 2-3 in his last 5. He is coming off that finish loss to Joaquin Buckley. No, it's not that. That's a good one. No. It's a themed one. And it's not just some random if Jacob does bullshit. It's themed. Taking on Themba Gorimbo, 14-4 in his career. 4-1 in his last 5 on a 4-fight win streak. This fight is a little bit of a switcheroo. Themba Gorimbo stepping up on short notice. Vicente Luque was already on this card. He was supposed to fight Nick Diaz, and obviously that footage of Nick Diaz lighting whatever on fire on the side of the curb with no shirt on, looking like a crackhead, came to light, and he's magically off this card, and Vicente Luque has a new opponent. But that didn't stop Themba Gorimbo from being the favorite here. Vicente Luque, pretty good, pretty well-rounded fighter overall. He's got power in his hands. He's got solid wrestling defense. Good wrestling offense, as we saw in that RDA fight. 62% takedown defense seems low, but as I mentioned many, many times, if you remove the Bilal Muhammad fight from the equation, all of a sudden his takedown defense is absolutely phenomenal. Vicente Luque, at one point in time, was flying to the top, going to fight for a title, at least talks in it. Then he got taken down a million times by Bilal Muhammad, and since then he has not been the same. Literally had a brain bleed after fighting Jeff with a G, Neal, and he is coming off that TKO loss to Joaquin Buckley, where he had a really hard time finding that range. Taking on Themba Gorimbo, a long-distance striker who manages range really well. He picks his shots really well as well. He'll keep you at bay and then crowd and work from there. He's typically a counter striker, but he will charge if he finds some openings. Solid takedown defense. He's just going to widen his base, pressure your head, and now all of a sudden he's turned into an... You're not listening to my quick picks, are you, to try to find it? Don't do that.
I'm not. I'm on Twitter.
Okay.
I'm just sitting here trying to think. I'm like, is it something that I do?
You're never going to get... You're never... I promise you're never going to guess it.
Is it something I do every stream?
I'm done answering the questions.
Just yes or no? Do I do it
every stream? If it happens, it happens. If we get to the...
That's one...
I'm not answering that question. Because if I say yes, you're just going to do all the annoying shit you do. And if I say no, you're like, that's it. I shouldn't have said a word. I only said it to get you to stop, to shut the fuck up about trying to get me to drink more. So just wait. If it happens, it happens. Okay. Just the fucking... Why that pissed them off? I'm about done with my breakdown too, so hopefully he comes back. Anyway, Themba Gorimbo has turned into a wrestler as of late. 17 takedowns in 5 UFC fights.
Was that it?
Why did you... No, that wasn't it. I thought I pissed you off. I'm like, what the fuck?
No, I thought that was it.
No, that wasn't it. Themba should win here, right? He's turned into a nasty wrestler as of late. Vicente can be taken down. It's not that either. Vicente is a very good fighter. At one point in time was a great fighter, and as Jacob pointed out earlier today, is the younger fighter in this matchup. But I don't think it matters, right?
Is it the little Coke cans?
No, dude. You're never going to guess. That's why instead of going crazy, just do what you do.
I'm not even looking at the chat. I just have everything. I've isolated myself.
The chat is not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you. It turns out they're not stitches. They're not snitches. Vicente Luque does lose this fight, unfortunately. Although he is the better fighter, he's just... And the younger fighter, as we pointed out, 33... do I have the age wrong? Themba Gorimbo was older here. Is it 33 or 34 or something like that?
By 8 months.
Okay. He's just like 56 in fight years. He did not look good in his last fight. He had the brain bleed a few fights ago. Vicente Luque, unfortunately, is not who he used to be. And Themba Gorimbo coming out here long as hell, using that length, wrestle heavy, could have some success here. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I believe in my heart of hearts that I love Themba Gorimbo. Right, I think everyone is a big fan of Themba at this point. He's been featured on the Embedded this week. He's such a nice dude. He's been my lock of the week before. I think it's one of his first fights. I even sent him a message after his lock of the week. It was a couple of years ago. And I was like, "You're my lock of the week," and he responded. He was a super nice guy about it. He probably should win this fight. There's a couple people on this card where it's like, probably should, right? Because Vicente Luque, as you mentioned, hasn't looked the best, right? That Buckley fight was definitely a very bad look because not only did he basically quit, he basically kind of admitted to quitting and then didn't even act like he really cared about the quitting situation. He was just like, yeah, my bad. Whoops. Try to get him next time. And it's like, dude, you can't fucking... People work their entire lives to get in that position. You just turtle up and just fucking the fight's over. It's like that's unfair to everyone else that's working hard as well. But you look at the Instagram post and it seems like he's locked back in, right? He's got a new hairdo, he grew the beard out, all the midlife crisis type stuff. And if these guys are head to head and these guys are skill for skill, Vicente is the better fighter. I mean, I think he's the cleaner striker. He's more adaptive to kind of every situation, whether getting wrestled or counter wrestling. And I've always said about Themba, as much as I love Themba, and he is relentless, and if there's one person between the two of these that I know is going to give 100%, it's going to be Themba. He does get sloppy. And if you guys start getting sloppy, especially in the grappling against a guy like Vicente, it could be bad fucking news. So, I'm going with who I believe is the better fighter, and I'm just going to hope that he shows up. I'm going against Themba here. I am picking Vicente Luque. I don't have any money on him, but Saturday we might.
All right. I'm going to update the website because you just didn't put that pick on the website for some reason, so I'll do it for you. Oh, you did. It's PickGPT that didn't do it. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry about that. I apologize.
Take a drink.
No.
There it was.
That
the
wasn't
first
what it
time
was.
I make a mistake because I never make mistakes.
I'll take a drink. This has nothing to do with the drinking game. I will take a drink because I was wrong and that was rude. Somebody said, why does he dip his head when he takes the drink? So you can hear the go. Look here, listen.
You can hear it when you're back there too. Ooh, a little double dip there, huh? Angie getting low.
Smooth.
Everybody in the club get tips.
I didn't have dinner either. Listen, I don't
Everybody
hate...
in the club get tips. Everybody in the club get tips. Everybody in the club get tips.
Okay. I don't hate that breakdown. Vicente is the better fighter, but he hasn't looked like the better fighter as of late. So that is why I am on the other side. Jakey Boy and I completely split here. $7,600 in DraftKings Fantasy, $8,600. The only way Themba's worth that $8,600 if he looks like the Nurmagomedov that he has in his last couple of fights, which he may. And if he does, he's absolutely worth that money. But as I said many times before breaking down this fight, Vicente Luque is by far the best fighter that Themba Gorimbo has fought. It's not even close. So does he pass the test? We'll find out. I don't have any bets here either. But if you do want to check out all the other bets, 18 units of bets on the board right now. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. It's freaking $10. Do not be a cheap bastardo. 499 Super Chat from Who's Watching What. Love you guys. Keep being the best in the game. F what the haters say. No one comes close. That's just cold hard facts. My man, pots and pans. And I agree with you. We are the best at this. Well, I appreciate you very much, genuinely.
I put the that Crone quote on Twitter. The first three replies are, he sounds super pumped to be there. The next one is, I love to know an athlete is stoked to finally be back in action after a long layoff. And then the next one says, sounds like a real scrapper. Hammer away, little red.
Yeah, see, sometimes the internet has a sense of humor, and they're not all just fucking dweebs. Sometimes they are all dweebs.